hello there. Now, this will have the lefties and the mainstream press in a panic. Just watch this.
You all to remember the headlines. Remember the Guardian went hunting me down. You were told I was on the run. Also remember that after this incident at St Pancras train station, the police had all the evidence, as in the CCTV. Yet they still turned up like the military as I stepped off my EasyJet flight at Luton Airport to arrest me. The Daily Mail run the headlines as though I'd been arrested. They made it look like a murder scene. Well, guess what's happened today? No further action. Why is there no further action? Why was I arrested? Why, when the CCTV footage shows I was the victim, I'm not going to apologise for defending myself. You come up to me, you threaten me, you try to assault me, you'll end up asleep on the floor. Yeah? I'm not going to apologise for that. Okay? Why was it portrayed to the public I was on the run? Why were the Guardian hunting me down? And why, with all the evidence that the police were in possession of, was I even arrested? When it clearly shows I was the victim. The footage shows I was the victim. Why was I under arrest? Why were the media campaign against me? Why were the lies put out to the public? And another question, why were the witness statements that were read out in the media, read the witness statements in the press, they were bullshit. They're lies. Said I was the aggressor. Unfortunately, the CCTV says the opposite. You lying. So I should be happy. Why am I happy? I was put through hell. I was targeted. I was attacked. I defended myself. And then the media spun it. The police spun it. Because I never should have been under arrest. Because they had all the evidence. But today I've been no further action, no case to answer. I don't have to answer bail. I'm no longer on bail. The witnesses lied. I have all the evidence you lied. Yeah? So anyway, breaking news, Tommy Robinson defended himself. Roll on September 13th, a day for freedom. Correct every one of their lies. Take this video. Make sure any of those smear merchants and the journalists. There was a journalist that went and knocking on innocent people's doors in Tenerife, looking for me, like I was on the run. When all I'd done was defend myself against a hostile, violent attack. It's not, and some people would only be happy if I was the one face down on the floor. I'm not going to apologise. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Come up to me, attack me, violently attack me. I'll put you to sleep. Good night.
Well, there you have it. What do you reckon, Richard?
Fantastic news. I mean, let's face it, none of us really doubted him in the first place. But the point here is that so many in the media and on social media on the left were there condemning him, had him fleeing the country, had the man on the run, demonised him as per effing usual. The usual culprits were there trying to destroy that young man. And it's starting to grind on the nation, I think. People they understand what's going on. Even those on the left, I believe, are probably waking up. Many of them are going, okay, maybe this is starting to look a little bit stupid. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I remember when this was developing, I did make 1 or 2 phone calls, and I was told a few things which I couldn't talk about, which have subsequently come out. And that one of those was that he kept the police fully informed about what was happening, where he was, and when he'd be back. They knew he was coming back because he told them he was coming back, and they had the passport information anyway. But as Tommy says, that film that they had showed him to be entirely innocent. So why were they? All they should have there at the airport, Luton Airport, to receive him, in such a grand manner. What was all that about? What was all that play acting about? What was all that theatre about? There should have been a copper there with an apology saying, "Oh, here's your letter of no further action," and then that would have been the end of it. And they wouldn't have made him into a set. Well, they're making him into a martyr every time they do these things. All that's done, actually, is it's made people more determined to be there on the 13th of September. What a joke this is. I can't believe that the full might of the establishment is actually turning out to be on Tommy's side. It's just unbelievable, really.
Well, it does make
sense. I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there, that the full might of the establishment behind Tommy, because maybe not purposefully, but it's certainly working to his benefit. That's the way to frame this, I suppose. Although I will say this, that many of the there's a lot of sympathy for Tommy, especially amongst the police, incidentally, believe it or not. They get their orders, and Tommy says this himself. A lot of the time, he's there, and the police themselves, in general, are very nice to him. Other than when he's been pulled out of a crowd, like that time. So when he's having breakfast. I mean, that was just utterly bloody disgusting. That was a case of just obeying orders, sir. You could clearly see that something, whatever was going on there, came from above. And I do pity the police in those circumstances, although sympathy runs thin eventually, because they are trying to destroy this man. The police force of this country needs to stand up for the people of this country. I mean, I have a question. We don't know for sure, but why was we've mentioned this before, that young girl carrying a knife and an axe with her? I mean, that's become borderline mythological now, what she was doing there. That is become an iconic, almost like Boudicca kind of image that is ingrained on our psyche here in the United Kingdom. And we have to ask ourselves, where are the police protecting little girls from? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe that was that chap who was filming her was innocent enough. I mean, but who goes around filming little 14-year-old girls, regardless if they're carrying knives or whatever? You just run. If they got a knife or whatever, you just run, go, get out of bloody Dodge. I don't know. We don't know the full facts behind that, Jeff, so there's a lot of allegedly there, allegedly this, allegedly that. Allegedly he was a migrant, but we don't even know that. That's what's been said I think it was in the Economic Times and some other things. But anyway, this is not about that little girl. This is about Tom and the police force.
Yeah,
Jeff, over
another
to you.
Another thing to note about that particular incident you're talking about in Scotland, I gather, is that I'm told from somewhere that the mother of the named girl says it's not her. So we don't even know if that name being used is the right one. So be very careful when talking about this particular subject.
We would talk about this earlier, actually. Yeah.
Anyway, that comes back to the misinformation about Tommy, doesn't it? All those stories about him running away again are all proved wrong, because he came back again, just like last time, to face everyone and say, here I am, talk to me. Everybody keeps on vilifying the poor guy, but he doesn't, what you see in Tommy is what you get, I can assure you. So don't give him a hard time. Anyway, I'll just show you what the now this one is from the Independent. Tommy Robinson won't be charged over alleged St Pancras assault, police say. British Transport Police said the Crown Prosecution Service concluded there was not a realistic prospect of conviction. Now let that sink in, because what they're not saying is, well, the evidence pointed to him being, he wasn't at fault. No, there was no realistic prospect of conviction. That's what the CPS are saying. So you think to yourself, wait a minute, are you trying to frame it that he is somehow guilty of something, but you couldn't quite prove it? Is that how this works? Is that how the modern legal system works? And this one is from Sky. The 42-year-old far-right activist was arrested at Luton Airport on August the 4th in connection with the incident, which took place on the 28th of July. British Transport Police said the alleged victim did not wish to provide a statement to the investigation. So not only did they have evidence that there was nothing for Tommy to answer to, the guy, the subject of the altercation that ended up face down on the floor, didn't also want to give any evidence either. But still, the Crown Prosecution Service did not have any real prospect of a prosecution. We've got all the evidence, but we couldn't quite get there, seems to be the message coming out of those flannel merchants. So, yeah, that annoys me a little bit. So it's, Tommy's free. You could see he was quite happy, but he should be angry, a bit angry. And all those people, all those witnesses there, if they gave false testimony to the police, do you know what that's called? It's called perverting the course of justice. Carries a very hefty sentence as well.
Thing
And I
is,
bet
Jeff,
there's a
the
few
problem
peop-
is that,
Yep.
you've got to realise, so sorry, I have to butt in there, but Tommy did say it was the worst week of his life. That was. We can't underplay this, what happened to him. He said this was the
Yeah.
worst week of his life. After all that he has been through, okay? To be demonized in such a way, yet again, like wondering whether the system's going to try and do him over again. And as you rightly said there, Jeff, the trajectory of the CPS seemed to be heading towards a framing, or trying to find a way at least of convicting him. And almost like disappointment that they couldn't find a reason not to convict him. That's the way that comes across.
Oh, I've got to put this one up.
What? Oh, okay. So you were both Freemasons, not
what
Christians.
a plonker!
Oh,
You are
patriot.
a king-sized plonker. You don't know me, and you don't know Richard. If you knew anything about both of us, you would not charge us with being Freemasons. I can assure you.
Yes. Correct. So, and yes, we are Christians and we're patriots. Well, I'd like to think I am. Jeff, what about you? Are you a patriot? Do you identify as a patriot today?
Yes. And Brian Corney, do you read the comments or just say you do? No, I just say I do, Brian. I just say I read the comments, because otherwise I wouldn't show them, would I? Yeah.
It is rather difficult, though, Brian, I will say, to read all the comments whilst we're trying to talk as well and give a cohesive narrative. I try my best to read the comments, and so does Jeff. And it is rather difficult trying to do everything at once. But there we go. We do our best.
Anyway, Giant Put says, well, there's nothing from the British Batshit Corporation. Well, no, there isn't. As I said, I've shown a couple of the from Sky and the Independent, but they don't sound very happy about it, do they? They just don't sound very happy. I think they were hoping that they could jump all over this and then jump all over Tommy in court. And I'm wondering whether they're going now back over all the coverage they made of the St Pancras incident, and they're going to themselves, we better make sure we ticked all those legal T's and crossed all the I's and made sure we didn't defame the guy at any stage in this whatsoever or mislead people into thinking things. Because that's, I would love to see some of them go down. Oh, dear me. Oh, dear me. Here they go. I just don't understand people when they come out with this sort of rubbish. It just really does. Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, but I like this one by Sadistic Atheist. So this is an online Masonic lodge. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Jeff, we've both got our trouser leg rolled up or whatever it is, and it's like we sort of do the funny handshake before online. We sort of reach across the screen and we sort of like that, and
yes. There you go. Anyway, the government tried to ruin his life. Yes, absolutely right. But not just this government. The last one too. Yep, and the last one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Remember that each government is different. After every election, there's another government, and they've all tried to do it. And but here's the thing: the English Defence League, which he led for a certain period of time, and he left, I think, before it went defunct. The English Defence League, however much people tried to vilify it, was never proscribed. Unlike Palestine Action, it was never proscribed, ever. So you can't talk... He wasn't banned. Yeah, just think about that for a minute. They couldn't put enough on him to ban it. Otherwise, they would have done, but they didn't. Now, Lynn James says, Tommy's persecution is their distraction for what they are planning. Yeah, well, yeah, it could be. I just personally think that they were after him. And every single time he trips up, they think they've got something on him because it worked last time, but it's no longer working. And they know they have to, instead of just accusing him of something and putting him in front of a magistrate and hoping that it'll just go, they know they've got to convince the public now. They really do know that. They know they have to really make it 100%. And they're getting nowhere near that because they can't even pin a 1% on him as far as I can see now. And there is another court case coming up before the end of the year, sometime in October, where Tommy is going to court over that he didn't hand over the PIN number to his to the customs officials, or not. In fact, it was probably the terrorist squad when they stopped him at the port area in Dover. Now, when they stop you there, because you're in a port area, they have the power to stop you and search you and do all sorts of things to find out if you've got anything terrorist on you or anything terroristy. And one of the things they do is they demand a PIN of your phone, so that you have to open your phone to them so they can go through everything on there. And he said, no, I'm a journalist, you're not having it. So they trying to pin this terrorism charge on him, and he's going to court on that October sometime. So that'll be interesting to see the outcome of that one as well.
Jeff?
I'm just hoping that things go on.
Jeff, is it October? Is it October this year or next year? I can't remember. Is it this year or next year?
No, it's October this year. Next year he's got the other one. What's the other one? There's another one going on. I can't remember now. I'm sure it's this year for that particular one. Yeah. May have got it wrong, but because there's so many.
yes, exactly. Yeah. They're all sort of rolling into one.
Anyway, the main thing is that Tommy's a free man at the moment, and long may it last, and also that he can't be stopped from September the 13th unless they can pin something on him in the meantime. And don't think they won't be looking. Don't think they won't be looking. They'll be trawling through everything they can. As I said before, they probably tracked him on his trip on the underground or on the train to Luton Airport. They're probably trying to find out if he dropped any litter or put his feet up on the benches, on the seats or something, so they can arrest him. They'll be trying everything.
Yeah, but the other side of it, though, is you have to remember that they are very frightened of him, probably more so now that he's aligned himself with a political party. And he's aligned himself with a political party that, with Advance UK, of course, that now Elon Musk is really starting to align himself with. And the strong alignment as well with Rupert Lowe's Restore movement. It's Restore, isn't it? Yes, it is Restore. Restore movement, which isn't going to be a political party. Yeah. And this is why we have to remember that now Tommy is becoming more of a threat because he may actually potentially move into political circles, or at least be very much alongside in terms of alignment with the political party. That's the important thing. He's already joined Advance UK, and this is a big threat. I mean, because it's a big threat to the system. We were only talking earlier, Jeff, about how, for instance, Farage has of late. What was it? Was it in The Guardian you were talking about? Some observation you made of the comments on in the Guardian, Jeff, about how it's almost as if the Guardian itself was being less critical of Farage and almost like saying, well, he's not such a bad prospect after all. And I'm thinking, if you're having the Guardian sort of, maybe I'm sort of overinflating that slightly, but if the Guardian are going soft on Farage, that should tell you something about where Farage is sitting at the moment. And it's quite clear that Musk is no fan of his. So, once again, and that wasn't a temporary spat, that is something that is ongoing. And, Jeff.
Now, the Guardian now, what they said was that Farage isn't going to deport women and children. So he said that the Guardian seemed to be saying, oh, yeah, he's not so maybe he's electable-ish, more electable than he was. I think Farage today came out and said, well, we're not thinking of doing it immediately. It's because there are mostly males that we're not thinking about that at the moment. So let's be clear about that. But it was the way it was being framed. I mean, if there was anything positive to say or anything that eased worries about voting for someone like Farage 2 years ago, they would have completely ignored it or completely framed it in another way. So to make it look nasty. And you get suspicious when people start to frame it in a way that eases the criticism a bit. Anyway, that's just me being a bit sort of
Well,
paranoid or whatever.
I will sort of take you up on that one, Jeff, because I did watch Carl Benjamin speaking earlier, and he had a very good point to make, and that is at some point, probably very soon, there will be a hard right political force in government, whichever form that takes, and there will be mass deportations at some point because the people now will it. That's the long and short of it. The people don't just will it, they demand it. And that's where we're at. So we've got a lot to think about in terms of reform's potential in Parliament, even if there is a possibility that by 2029 Ben Habib could actually get into power himself. I mean, and that sounds ludicrous at the moment, but there's a lot of set of events and sequences, and in terms of sequence, that could take place between now and the next election. Have no doubt of that. There's a certain sequence of events that could take place which would put Ben Habib in power. And I know you all think, what a load of rubbish. Okay, that doesn't make sense at the moment. We'll see. Let's see what happens in this country in terms of stability. And that's the thing you have to remember. Nigel Farage getting into power in 2029 relies upon one thing, and that is social cohesion. In fact, not even 2029. Whenever the next general election is, that relies on Nigel Farage seeing a period of time leading up to the election of social cohesion. If that breaks down, a very different parliament would have to be formed, probably, and very different leaders would be called upon.
Yeah. Thank you, Timmy Tification. I really hope to see you in London on the 13th. Yeah, I shall be wandering around there in London, out and about, talking to people and talking to myself and seeing who's there. So, hope to see you there as well. I just want to point out a couple of things that surprised me about all of this. So when looking at because Tommy made it quite clear, he's being told that no further action is being taken. But that doesn't mean to say it's all at an end, because no further action, according to a couple of solicitors' sites I've got, it's not quite as cut and dried as it's said. One of them, at Richard Nelson LLP, says a no further action decision means that the police have decided not to proceed with the charges based on the current evidence. This decision does not involve a court trial or a formal declaration of guilt or innocence. So it's not dead.
Wow, also, I don't know.
I know. It's just, and also it says somewhere that it could still stay on your record for 100. Yeah. Even though no further action is being taken against you because you were arrested on suspicion of a criminal offence in the first place, this will remain on your police national computer record until you're 100 years old. I think that can be removed, according to this, but it just tells you, doesn't it, that not everything in law is what it seems to be. So
the law is just, I mean, how can anyone take the law of this land seriously when you've got such stipulations that are ludicrous, where a man could have such a thing on his record until, you have to wait until he's 100. 100? Yeah. Are you kidding me? What's Tommy potentially going to do when he's like 85 even? 75? Shut up, the whole thing. I find it utterly ludicrous.
Yeah,
and the reason that it is over is Tommy's very confident here, and I'm sure with good reason, that the CCTV footage proves his innocence. If that proves his innocence, I mean, look, unless the state goes totally one step too far on this, but I think the state right now knows it can't go too many steps too far with the British people. I think it knows that by now, because if it pushes any further, things will start falling apart very quickly, and I think the state knows that.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out what the lawyers are saying, and they're saying, here's another one from Lawton's Law. Most notably, this letter doesn't provide absolute immunity from future legal action, and goes on to say that it means you won't be charged. Although in most situations it means you won't be charged, it's important to understand that the prosecution can open the case up again if significant new information emerges. If you get my
Yes.
So
Invented,
it's one of those things.
emerges.
Why
yes.
can't why can't they just shut the ruddy case and say, a letter of comfort? Have you heard of those? Where they send those out they sent them out to the IRA. Anyone they thought they've sent them all those letters of comfort, which means they will never, ever be prosecuted, even if new evidence emerges. They didn't do it for the troops, by the way, only did it for the terrorists. In fact, they want to open up the law again so that the troops can be prosecuted. This Labour government does. Anyway, that's another matter for another time. So, yeah. This is the big thing. I remember when this first happened, and as I said, I made a couple of phone calls, and what they said was what they wanted was the CCTV footage to be made public. And I remember us doing a video. We said, and we pushed for it to be made public. Funny how it hasn't been made public yet, isn't it?
Very true, Jeff. Very true. We've had other CCTV in many cases and are made public. I mean, but why not in this case? Why not? In fact, it's very much essential, I believe, that it is made public, because if it does show, if it does show Tommy to have been harassed and been acting in self-defense, then don't forget Tommy's reputation has taken a knock over this. Because the press went straight in there. The press was straight in there saying, he attacked an old man was the first one, wasn't it? And it was like, what? Oh, yes, of course. Tommy Robinson, of course he does. He goes up attacking old men all the time, doesn't he? Yes, that's exactly what his character's like. Oh, for goodness sake. What a load of absolute
Yeah. Yes. And I love all the people in the comment sections still saying that we're Freemasons or something. I've always found that the people who make accusations are usually the ones who are the guilty parties. So everyone who accuses us, I will say that I think they're the Freemasons trying to hide it. But there you go. That's
definitely. Satanists, yeah. Freemasons there. Yeah, satanic Freemasons. They're also shape-shifting lizards as well. Yeah.
Yes. Toby Wangadachi, thank you. Tommy is a true patriot. To anyone who disagrees, there are 57 countries you can, off to. Only 57.
Isn't that how many varieties there are of Heinz baked beans, isn't it? Or
no, it's Heinz products back in the day. They used to have 57.
Oh, right, okay.
That's what that was all about. Yeah. Yeah. And this is a true fact. This next one is a true fact. Christians, Jews, Hindus, Sikhs all love Tommy. I know that because I've met them and talked to them. Yes, they do. He's got a lot of support from all communities. He has. So and some from the other demographic as well. I can assure you of that too.
Oh yes, so, definitely. Yeah.
So he's well loved by a lot of people. Here we
Lord
go.
Viking
Tommy should be knighted. Not in a prison cell. He deserves Starmer's job, and Starmer should be back in the cell.
No, he shouldn't be knighted. Tommy shouldn't be knighted. He should be made king, and he should do the knighting. I think we might have a better honour system. I'm serious. What, would you rather have King Charles or Tommy as king? I can tell you which I'd prefer. So, Lord Viking Live. Are Jeff and Richard Buddhists? No. No, that's
brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, this is great. Whoever started this thing off of the Freemasons, honestly, brilliant. This is the best one I've had in ages. Yeah.
We'll have to wear some sort of apron, don't we, or something? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
With all sorts of weirdy things on. Yeah, maybe it's the curtains. Maybe they think that we're hiding Freemason memorabilia and stuff behind the curtains. I remember talking to
No.
someone. They thought I had all the dead bodies behind there.
Oh, yeah, because they thought you were an Undertaker. Yeah, yeah, Undertaker's curtain. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Ben Khan says Ben Habib is the man we are waiting for to be our next Prime Minister. He is a patriot and a gentleman. Ben Habib for 2029 election. He is definitely a true patriot and a true gentleman. If you've ever met him and talked to him, you'd know exactly what I meant. In fact, he's more British than a lot of Brits I know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, can you imagine? This is what you have to ask yourself honestly now. Can you imagine Nigel Farage as British Prime Minister? I can imagine. Well, I know it's going to happen pretty much, unfortunately. Whereas I prefer Ben Habib. I said that's why I say unfortunately. But can you imagine Ben Habib being Prime Minister? The answer is yes, yes, yes. Can you imagine him at the dispatch box? Yes. Can you imagine him meeting with international leaders? Yes. Businessmen. And yes, meeting on the street with the ordinary folk. Yes. Yes, that's why I believe in Ben Habib. And that's why I wish that somehow if he could have just taken over reform, we would be in such a different position now. I've never been a fan of Richard Tice. That's me. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I didn't like when he started talking about forcing mandates, mandates being required for NHS, and Dr. David Bull, the same thing. Lee Anderson, when he came over and joined Reform on his introduction speech, I remember it, he started talking about how wonderful the proud our vaccination history is. I was like, okay, that's a strange thing to say at that point. And then you got Mohammed Zia Youssef, and I don't like the way he's treated people. Like Rupert Lowe and a few other things that I won't go into. And then there's Nigel Farage, who I don't trust. Sorry. I know some of you absolutely idolise Farage and think he's the man, he's going to do it. Look, he's going to be Prime Minister. If there's an election tomorrow, I'm voting Reform for an incremental change. But he's not who I want to be Prime Minister. Sorry, I had to go my usual rant then.
Yeah. Native Strong says the UK dies or is reborn on the 13th. You aren't being called to storm the Western Front. Just attend a protest. Show up. Freedom is not free. Absolutely right. The fight for freedom doesn't end just after a battle. Like, we won the Second World War. Freedom is here. Suddenly we found ourselves in the Cold War. The Cold War is at an end. We're all free, and suddenly we found ourselves in other things. And now we're finding ourselves fighting our own government for freedom of speech. We're never free. We have to continually fight for our rights. If you don't fight for them, you lose them. Honestly, you just lose them. And we've been losing our rights over about the last 30 years or so, just because bit by bit, salami slicing them away. And we've sort of gone, okay, yeah, because they keep telling you it's for your safety. It's for the safety of the children. How has any of this helped them? How has any of this helped them? You just, yes. Oh, how many boats today, says someone. I don't know, actually. I haven't been keeping up with that particular count. They ought to have a thing outside Downing Street, didn't they? On the gate, on the big iron railings, they should have a big counter board, and the police have to come out every single time and every hour and update the number of boats and people that have come across the channel. That would wake that would sort of concentrate some people's minds, wouldn't it? Yes. Native Strong says police in London are vetted for any trace of patriotic leanings before being hired. These are not your parents' coppers. They are the EU's foot soldiers. I'm not even sure they're the EU's foot soldiers. It's more like the WEF or the United Nations. Yes, the trouble is, you see, this is why they wanted all police officers, new police officers, to have degrees, because it means they've been through the full panoply of the indoctrination process. So when they're squirted out at the other end, it's all woke, all of it. They've been trained in it. They know when they go into the meetings, when they have their operational meetings, and sit there and go, well, what are we going for today? Which woke people do we not arrest today? which of the target audience don't we arrest today? Yeah. So and can I go online, please, and chase down some people on Twitter? So yeah. Yeah, so, but overall, I'm really quite pleased that Tommy Robinson has been, has received his no further action letter. To be honest, I don't care what the lawyers say. I think, as I pointed out, I had to point it out because that's what it says. But I think it'd be stupid to do anything at this stage. I really do. If they were to come out and say, "Oh, we found someone's iPhone footage that we've put through AI," and it's it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't fly. Yeah. And isn't it strange these days that we look at AI film and we can see it looks almost realistic? You can imagine some copper in the evidence office, couldn't you, itching his fingers over the AI console to try and put the footage through it to change it.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet. We're not far away from it, though.
Sure.
We're not far away from it. We're not far away. Well, not on the commercial basis anyway, on the commercial level.
Yeah.
But AI is still, you can still tell it's AI. Just give it another, I say give it another 12 months to a year and a half, and you will not be able to tell what's AI. Jeff, you've been called AI in the past, and I'm still not convinced that you are a real human.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I know. It's just that the people don't get to see the H in the back of your head. That's what it is. You know.
No, I'm gonna wear one on the front here. H,
Yeah,
human, not hologram, because it proves I'm human. See, and thank you very much, Copadaseo. Finally, some justice for Tommy. Yes, definitely.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. Although a lot of people seem to think that he's shilling for Mossad or something, but I'm not quite sure.
Oh, we're meant to be doing that as well. Come on, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Sorry, yeah.
Come on, we're Freemasons apparently. We shill for Mossad. Anything else we do? What else are we? We're not Christians. We're not patriots as well. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mossad aren't paying it like they used to. I can tell you now. It's bloody dreadful.
Yeah, Tommy Robinson is a real man. Yeah, he stood up.
Yeah.
He stood up for the rest of us. Stood up for himself. He doesn't pussyfoot about. So definitely, yeah.
He nearly gave. When he came back, before he went in prison last, he came back knowing he could be dying for this country. Don't bloody well forget that. Okay, so when I see comments criticising Tommy, saying, "Oh, he's a Zionist," "Oh, he's this," like, F off. Go on, off you go. And you call yourselves patriots. That man was prepared to give his life. Would you do that? Instead of being a little keyboard warrior there, would you do that? I think not. Pathetic.
Yeah, the same for all the people who are telling us we're taking shekels. I don't even know what a shekel looks like, to be honest. I'm going to have to look that one up. Anyway, Tina Wainwright says, "I'm not voting for reform ever. My principles won't let me." Well, that's fair enough. Vote for who you want to vote for.
I know exactly how you feel there, Tina. It's like this. I've got two principles at play here. You vote for who you want to, and who you believe in, which for me is, I believe in, obviously in Advance UK and Ben Habib. And then my other set of principles are more linked with, if there's a general election tomorrow, Advance UK aren't ready. And I would do whatever it takes to prevent Starmer getting back in. And I don't know who I would even vote tactically, I believe, for a party that wasn't reform. Whatever got them out. I would even be thinking that. And I've never done that before. But my reason for thinking this, Tina, and by the way, I totally understand your position, but my reason of thinking this is, if we don't get them out this time, if he thinks he can just elongate his tenure in power, he will crack down on free speech like this. Jeff and I, you will not hear from us again. We'll probably be in some prison somewhere, and that will be it. And so probably with all you lot commenting on here. That's how bad that man wants to take this into an absolute hellhole of a dystopian in his hellhole of a dystopian vision of the United
Yeah.
Kingdom. He's not even left-wing. He's not left-wing. Neither's Corbyn. Don't think Corbyn's left-wing. That's not left-wing. That's something else. All these people on the so-called left, they're not left-wing. They are something else. It's like this hybridization of liberalism and Satanism. That's what it is. And they then talk about, you know, an egalitarian, equal and fair society. It's like Jeremy Corbyn talks about.
Well,
trying
you
to
know,
make a sort
Jeremy
of, you know,
Corbyn's not got he like Jeremy Corbyn, like everybody else on, you know, who's poor. He hasn't got any money, you know, so he's just as poor as everybody else. Like Angela Rayner, he's just and Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer doesn't have a British law in the form of a statutory instrument that protects his pension, does he? He does, actually, but there you go.
Oh, he does,
Now,
doesn't he? Yes.
Yes, he does, yes. Nigel is just morphing the Reform Party into the Tories 2.0, says Martin White. I'm excited about our Patriot protest on September the 13th, and so am I. The sooner it comes, the better. Oh, and on that one, I don't know whether you know, and of course, here we go, shilling again. Here we go, the shilling. These events don't come cheap. So if you can bung him a few quid on his site, Urban Scoop, I think it is. There's a donation place there. You can donate a few quid. Every little bit helps. And I will say that during the actual events that I've been to, they pass buckets around. And one of the ones I went to, they put the money in the bucket and it was presented to some of the survivors of the gangs. You know,
Wow.
So this is
God bless.
This is the sort of thing that goes on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just say, oh, he goes on his expensive holidays, or blah, blah. No, it's not quite how it works. But there you go.
No, not far from it. Far from it.
And Lord Viking Live says, Richard the Rant. I love it.
You got it. Well, I'm not going to shut up. I'm not going to shut up about things that are really important. So, yeah, Lord Viking Live, I have to do it sometimes. Sorry. And the passion's there. Look, I can sit here and be all nice. I mean, you know, Jeff and I have spoken about this before. We can sit down, we can be all mealy and reasonable and present you all with very reasonable arguments and just remain calm. There are other podcasts that you can watch where you get that. That's not me. It's not me. I'm sorry. I am warts and all. This is it. This is it. It's just this. This is me. I can't change it. And I'll still give you a reason. I'll still give you a reasoned argument in between all the rants as well.
Yes. Some people are saying voting doesn't work. It doesn't seem to work, as a lot of people have said. If voting actually worked, they wouldn't let you do it, would they? So, yeah. Now, I'm from the US, says Doug White. It's funny how JD visits and suddenly Julie Sweeney is released and Tommy charges dropped. Julie Sweeney, or is that Connolly? Lucy Connolly? Julie Sweeney? Lost that one.
I don't know.
Maybe I've missed something.
Yeah. Let me just go look here.
You have a quick look. Oh dear. John Johnson says, calm down, Richard. Keep your hair on. So there you go.
Yeah. No. This is Julie Sweeney. Sorry. Yeah, totally different person altogether. Two-tier justice claim after grandmother jailed over Southport riots. Post denied parole. Julie Sweeney, 53, was sentenced to 15 months. This is in the Telegraph, by the way, after calling for mosques to be disorder spread. A grandmother. So when is this from? So I need to check the date on this one. This is from the 7th of January.
Last year.
Yeah, it's an old one from earlier on this year.
Yeah.
But that's what we talk about there, Julie Sweeney. Is she being released? Is she? I don't know. Has she been released?
I hadn't seen anything. What? That's why I say the name didn't sort of.
Yeah. I not.
Anyway,
it did ring me. It did ring a bell with me. It was somewhere in the back of my mind. There is nothing new I'm seeing this unless it's come out on some other platform. Yeah.
Olio says every MP needs vetting before going into Parliament. Ain't no dual nationality and no dual nationalities. I believe in that. Do you know something? I'd get rid of this whole dual nationality thing. You're born and raised in a country, and that's you. If you want to go and live in another country and go there, then you should give up that one and start a new one and live in that country as a citizen there, if they'll give it to you. Dual nationalities just seems to me a bit of a get-out clause for people who want to just hop around the world. Where do their loyalties lie? That's what I want to know. And having dual nationality doesn't tell us anything about where your loyalties lie. And every MP needs vetting. Do you know, political parties move heaven and earth, or so they say, to vet their people before they stand, because it's highly embarrassing when you put up a serial killer as a candidate, isn't it, or something like that. So they do try it, but the trouble is it never seems to work. People are very good at hiding things for so long, and then it all comes out. But
no, Labour,
press...
Labour do it. Labour do. They've got the most stringent. Labour have the world's most stringent vetting system, and it's like this: if you're a complete, total, and utter, and are completely useless, and a complete, you're in. You're in. That's it. Yeah, you can't beat that vetting
well,
system.
Just look at what was it? The previous fraud minister, or whatever she was. She had to resign, didn't she? And then we had the minister in charge of homelessness. She had to go as well. Yeah. Oh dear! I wonder how long Angela Rayner will last. The trouble is, Angela Rayner is voted in by the unions, but she doesn't seem to be flavour of the month with the unions either at the moment. So, can you imagine? Being put in place by the unions and ending up with a couple of houses and a grace and favour flat as well. You just have to wonder about all this, don't you? Oh,
I tell you what, I mean, part of me would just love for Angela Rayner to be Prime Minister. It would be hysterical. Well, it would be dreadful. It would be terrible. But, I mean, can you imagine it? On the world stage, Angela Rayner representing Great Britain.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yes. Someone is saying in the comments section, what is going on with Mrs. Starmer, people? I've tried Googling it. I can't find anything. So and you have a quick look, Richard, and see if you can find something on Victoria Starmer. Unless they're referring to our Prime Minister, of course.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah. Yes.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear, yes.
No, there's nothing new out in the press. Sorry, Jeff. Sorry to disappoint you. What's going on with her? Well, I mean, she's married to Keir Starmer, so nothing's going particularly well, is there? Is it? I mean, I look at that woman. I feel so sorry for her. I do. Honestly, I really do. I mean, she seems. I know her politics are not exactly mine, to say the least, but she seems like almost like a decent enough woman who wanted to marry and settle down, and she, with a husband who would be a husband, and she ended up with Keir Starmer. Yeah, and you have to pity her. Bless her.
Now, I've got to ask. There was a house, wasn't there? A fire and a car, a fire, and
yes.
There were some people identified.
Young Ukrainian men.
What's happened, though?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question, isn't it? What happened? What's happened? We haven't heard much about that. I mean, it's almost as if it was swept under the carpet.
Can you Google it, Richard?
Well,
can you have a quick look, Richard?
Oh, I could, I suppose. Must I do this, Jeff? I'm too tired to breathe.
Now, Trond Colstor says the only ones in Parliament should have been military veterans only. That would resolve everything easily. Yes, you'd end up with mad people like me in the House of Commons or in the House of Lords. Yeah, that would be a bit of an interesting sort of thing, wouldn't it?
Terrifying.
But I don't think you'll find anything, Richard, to be honest. I think it's all being hush-hushed. It's all being swept under the carpet.
Yeah, well, there's a trial date set for men. It's on the BBC News. Trial date set for men charged over fires at homes linked to Prime Minister. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the photos of them. And I'm going, all righty. Yeah, they look.
No, Richard, this is sub judice. It's all sub judice. You can't say a word. You're not allowed to say a word.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying a single word. I'm just looking at them going, yeah, no words were spoken.
Yeah. Right. Native Strong says, Nigel isn't the dream choice, but he is what is realistic to replace this government. Get him across the finish line and regroup. Stop letting small issues sidetrack us from the common goal. Yeah, that's a valid argument, but it just comes down to who do people want to vote for, and that's always the thing.
Yeah.
At the moment, to be honest, I think we'll find that Labour, come the election, there'll be a huge chunk of the Labour supporters who will now vote for Jeremy Corbyn's party. And if that happens, then Labour is finished. And a lot of people in the Tory party will go across to Reform. But I don't think the left are in a very good state at all, because not every Labour voter and not every Lib Dem and every Green is going to go across to Jeremy Corbyn by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
He may have, 850,000 people may have signed up to his newsletter just to see what he's up to. But I know that there are a lot of people from, shall I say, the other side who have also signed up to his newsletter. So you might find that a good couple of 100,000 of them are just having a laugh at him as he goes around in his cloud cuckoo land.
There's a lot. He does have a lot of sympathy, Jeremy Corbyn. I mean, don't forget, he grew the Labour membership massively, huge. It exploded when he was Labour Party leader, but it didn't translate into votes. That was the thing.
No.
So
I think people suddenly realised, that he's a totally far left type who would,
I don't think he's a totally far left. I think he's just dangerous, and he isn't. No, I don't think he's far left. I don't know what he is. It's strange. As I said, I pity many people who traditionally voted Labour, because what do they have left to represent them? They've got Starmer's Labour Party, when you've just got idiots there, total idiots. Yeah. And then you've got, on the other side, you've got Jeremy Corbyn's new idiot factory. And it's like, okay, well, they are completely underrepresented. And, I mean, this is where I do think that there's a certain amount of scope for parties like, not just Reform, but especially, I'd say, for Advance UK, where you stop talking about being bloody well left-wing and right-wing. And you start saying what works. Okay, so if you have to nationalise these particular things, you get a better cohesive society. Well, just do it then. Okay. If that improves infrastructure in which capitalism, I suppose, and a free market can work, then fine. Great. That sounds like a good idea. But what does work? Everything's become too tribalistic, saying, "Oh, I'm left wing and I'm right wing." It's like, okay, well, I just want what works. Is that all right? Is that okay? Can we just go for that?
Yes. Trouble is, we always overshoot one way or the other, don't we?
Correct.
1881 F7D says, good news. And that's about Tommy, obviously. The people that lied should be sent to jail, and Chief of Police should lose his job. The Chief of Police, I'm not quite sure who the Police and Crime Commissioner or the Chief is of the British Transport Police. Might be part of the Met, I'm not sure. Interesting one, that. Because they cover all the underground and all that sort of thing. I'm not sure about that. I have to check up, I suppose. Advance, you were advocating for UKIP a few weeks ago. A vote for any of the micro parties is a vote for the Uniparty, right-wing virtue signalling. Yes, I think you'll find that when we were talking about UKIP and we were talking about about Reform UK was before Advance UK. Advance UK is brand new on the block. It
Well,
may
hang
sound
on.
like old news to some, but
I still say that there's a lot of merit within UKIP. I just wish the two would join together and Nick Tenconi would merge with UK with Advance UK. That's what we've been saying for a very long time. And I was watching a speech recently by Nick Tenconi, absolutely bloody superb. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. He didn't say anything I disagreed with in this specific speech. And so advocating for UKIP, no, I advocate. Look, there's nothing wrong with liking UKIP and being a supporter of UKIP, etc. But to think that this is coming down to what's called the old vote splitting paradox, is that at some point, if you don't start voting for who you believe in, you don't get the party you want anyway. But the beauty of supporting parties like Advance UK or even UKIP, if that's the way you're inclined at the moment, the beauty of it is it puts Reform's feet to the fire. I keep saying this, I'm repeating myself, it's like a stuck record. And that changes the Overton window. People like Nick Tenconi have definitely changed the Overton window, as have people like Ben Habib. I just wish they'd all come together. Ben, Nick, and Rupert Lowe. I mean, Rupert Lowe, come on, Rupert. Come on. Come on, Rupert. Come on.
Yeah, you
Come
know you
over.
want to.
Yes, come on.
Now, it's thinking like this, don't split the vote and all of that talk got us the uniparty, two cheeks of the same tailpipe situation in the first place. That's what got us there. Well, if I don't vote for them, I might get them. And that's the fear they put in you. The Tories and the Labour Party lived on that for decades, absolutely decades, milking it. And we all sucked it in. I always remember hearing this lot mucked it up. It's time for the other lot to have a go. And you're thinking, wait a minute, the other lot? Why don't we pick real people to run the country properly in the first place? Then we wouldn't have to go and choose the other lot, would we? And it's this sort of thinking that gets us into the uniparty, red-blue thing.
Yeah.
So we've got to get out. We've got to break that apart. And it's not going to be done by just proportional representation. Otherwise, we get a position like in France and Germany and all the rest of it in the EU where this is embedded, where you end up with the people you actually want, where the majority party, which ends up being on the right of centre, is shuffled off to the sidelines while all the others gang together to make the government. So the people still don't get what they want. Yeah, it's a hard one.
I think we really do.
Need to.
Yeah, we need to get behind Ben Habib right now. That's what we need to do. As a nation, we need to help push that political party, that movement, I should say. It's not a political party at the moment, but we need to be pushing that. Because even if it doesn't become electable, and hypothetically, if he chose not to field candidates at this time, if Ben Habib didn't, if he didn't think the party was strong enough or in position at this time, that would be fair enough. If he didn't. But it would still be pushing reform. Because reform is there looking, because the amount of support that's coming over to Advance UK, it's astronomical. It really is. Yeah. I've seen so many polls where people are just on Twitter and on Facebook, etc., putting out these polls saying, who would you vote for? And this is towards centre-right. Well, I'd say not centre-right. I'd say right-wing people. You know, people probably like yourselves watching this. I hate the term right and left wing, but you know what I mean. It's an old mechanism of metric, an old metric. And the results are quite staggering that, yes, reform's in the lead, but only just. A lot of people are sort of putting their support behind Advance. I believe, honestly, I do believe that if Advance was to be boosted in the public consciousness far enough by 2029, and if there was more people coming on board, like big players, big names saying, right, we are here to support Advance UK. We are joining. So you even have like a government in at that point, I do believe all bets are off. All bets are off then.
Yeah. Now, James Jamieson, naughty boy, says, what's Tyson Fury and Sir Keir Starmer got in common? They've both been smashed about the ring by a Ukrainian multiple times. Oh, my goodness me, young man.
Sorry.
Very naughty. We can't possibly show that one. I can't possibly show that one.
Sorry.
Yes. Yes, as Gary Ford says, Corbyn will split the Labour vote, but also the Gaza issue. Yes. I'm wondering, actually, whether Jeremy Corbyn can rely on the Gaza issue. I'll be honest with you. I think those particular voters will go for their own. They've found that they can get independent candidates in. So, they don't rely on the Labour vote.
Possibly.
Yeah. So you could find that it decimates really decimates 1 in 10, decimates the left. So we could end up with a really badly split up House of Commons. This is what we've allowed ourselves to become. We haven't held our electoral processes and who can vote and who can stand. We haven't protected ourselves. We've just allowed everybody to come and do their thing. And now I think it's beginning to bear some very bad fruit. But there you go, just me. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe it'll all be fine in 1,000 years' time. Yes. Anyway, Richard, I think we've done enough, don't you? Talking about Tommy,
yes,
I think we've defended him against all the people out there who think he's a Zionist Freemason. Oh, dear me. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I know.
I shall check him out for Mossad next time. I should I'll ask him, "Are you Mossad?"
Yeah, what time is it? I got to go. Anyway, I got to go down the lodge now for a pint. So down the pub. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, everybody, thanks very much for watching, and thanks very much for keeping us entertained. I hope we've sort of reciprocated that. And please like, subscribe, comment below, and please think about becoming joining our membership. It all helps us to create this sort of thing. And absolutely. Click on the little bell as well. Otherwise, you won't get a notification.
Subscribe, click on the little bell.
Yep.
Yeah.
And nip across to Tripe and Whatnot. That's our other channel. And we put up little snippets of these videos on there. So if you see something that interests you, you only have to watch 60 seconds as opposed to an hour.
Yes. You get the bite-sized
They'll be
chunks.
going up. They'll be coming up tomorrow. So if you can, please do that. And on that note, all I can say is it's... let me just check I haven't missed anything. No, I haven't missed anything. And on that note, I will say that it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from Mr. Jeff Taylor. Goodbye.
Goodbye.